at the newly renovated Boardwalk Convention Center in Atlantic City, New Jersey for another edition of World Championship Boxing. Tonight, future Hall of Famer Evander Holyfield takes on fellow former heavyweight champ Hasim Rahman in a matchup critical to the careers of both men. With heavyweights dominating the boxing news these days, we bring you a compelling crossroads matchup between two of the division's biggest names this side of Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson. The incomparable Evander Holyfield, now 39 years old, tries to keep alive his dream of again winning the undisputed heavyweight title in a bout against a dangerous and equally desperate former champ, Hasim Rahman, who, like Holyfield, looks to punch his way back into the title picture. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Atlantic City for this special night on World Championship Boxing. Already you've enjoyed the 30-minute countdown to Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson next week in Memphis. This is a pivotal month in the heavyweight division. Tonight, as the stakes have already been articulated here, Hasim Rahman against Evander Holyfield here in Atlantic City. One man will move forward, one man will step further back. Next week, Lewis against Tyson. There's already been a lot said, and much more will be said in the next 7 days for sure before we're there in Memphis next Saturday night, live pay-per-view. And then on the 29th of this month, back here in Atlantic City, rapidly rising top contender, regarded by many as the heir apparent to the title, Vladimir Klitschko of the Ukraine will face his toughest test so far in the person of durable, tough American heavyweight Ray Mercer, a man who gave both Holyfield and Lewis all they could handle in his battles with them. So let's get it started with the expertise of two-time former heavyweight champion George Foreman. And George, 11 years ago on this same piece of turf, you fought against Evander Holyfield, who was regarded by at that time as too small to be a top-notch legitimate heavyweight. He'd already won the title. He showed his bravery against you. Could you have foreseen that 11 years later at 39 he'd still be around making a mark?
In the heavyweight division, you can almost bet on it. If you're a young champion, you're going to be an old contender sooner or later. Joe Louis fought more ex-heavyweight champion than anyone else in the world. Rocky Marciano, he came along and fighting Jersey Joe Walcott and all of them. If you stick around in the heavyweight division, you're going to see more ex-champions than anywhere in the world.
Geriatrics rewarded.
Yeah, here we go.
George, oldest heavyweight champ of all time. Well, it began for Evander Holyfield with the disappointment in Los Angeles in 1984 when, because of, in the eyes of many, an unwarranted disqualification, bronze suddenly turned to gold for the amateur star from Atlanta. And for Evander Holyfield, it's been an uphill fight ever since then. Earlier this week, he sat down with Larry Merchant to talk about his tumultuous career.
You've been in so many hard fights. You've had so many honors. You've made so much money. What drives you to keep boxing?
To be the champ, to be the best. And once I lost the title in 1992 to Red Bull, you know, I was gonna quit.
You were?
I was gonna quit, and but I realized that, you know, I wouldn't be the champ that I said I am if I quit. In the chase of being the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world again, have allowed my career to come here to 2002.
Do you make any concession to time? Any concession to you can't do all the same things at 39 as you could at 29?
Well, I don't believe that. I believe that when there's nothing wrong, when there hadn't been an injury, you have taken care of your body, so you know what you can do. You know, I'm realistic about things. Some things I don't want to do no more.
What can't you do?
It was a lot easier when I was younger because I used to go out dancing all the time. And so dance was a part of my workout. I stayed on the dance for 3 to 4 hours. I love dancing, but it had a lot to do with the way I fought. You know, dance is all about rhythm. Boxing is about rhythm. It's about how do you make the adjustment and be in the perfect stance to let your hands go? How do you get back in the stance for defense? Now, because I don't go dancing and stuff like that, I have to think and I have to quote myself, I need to get in a rhythm. And I have to remind myself.
If you don't win this fight, will you retire?
No, I will not retire. Because the only way I could lose this fight is for me not to go out and fight. And, you know, if it go to a decision, then the decision can go either way. And I will have to get back in line. If it means getting in line 2 or 3 more times, then I will get back in line.
So in effect, you're saying, unless I get beaten up, I'm going to keep going.
Well, you know, I'm never ever going to get beat up. I may get caught and shot, but I'm not going to get beat up. I never got beaten up. Red Bull, the only person that came close to doing that, and because she's, you know, that was a fight that made me really like say, I don't know if I ever want to go back through that again.
Do you sense that people who have come to respect, admire, even love you as a prize fighter are concerned about you somehow? They don't want to see you get hurt?
I truly believe that people love me, and I know that people are very concerned. But they have to understand that I have to make a decision that's right for me. Because when it all comes down, you know, I'm going to have to pay the price if I don't make it. I'm going to pay the price if I do make it. And not this, but it's because this is what made me the man that I am.
17 years and counting, his professional career and ongoing triumph of the will. Larry, is Evander Holyfield delusional at this point to think that he can win back the heavyweight championship of the world?
Delusional but determined. And once upon a time, that was a potent mix for Evander Holyfield. Remember that epic 10th round in the first of the 3 fights with Bo, when he was battered from pillar to post to pillar. And yet, by the middle of the round, he was doing the battering to Riddick Bowe. And when he was asked after the fight, how did it feel like when he was almost knocked out, what he said was, that's when I knew I had him. I had him where I wanted him. And that's pure Evander Holyfield, delusional but determined. And now, once again, he's being battered. Battered with the question, Evander, why don't you do the decent thing and go off peacefully into that good night of retirement? He has us where he wants us.
So now let's find out tonight if he's got Hasim Rahman where he wants him. And George, what about the choice by Rahman, coming off his devastating knockout loss against Lennox Lewis, to go up against the cagiest old rat in the barn?
I think this is a wise choice. Evidently, he's a good manager in mind. I don't know if he's got the best trainer available, but he's decided to, look, I'm going to beat the most famous, renowned boxer around. He knocks Evander Holyfield out, he's top of the heap again. Wise decision. Right time, the right thing.
Exactly the reason why Rahman says he chose to take this fight. He wanted to be right back into the first sentence of consideration for the heavyweight championship. So let's start the countdown to the pageantry now. Tail of the tape between Holyfield and Rahman, and there is one fascinating number here. It's not the age, we know that. Holyfield 10 years older at 39. They're just about equal in height. A reach advantage of 4.5 inches for Rahman. But look at the weight at the bottom. Holyfield, a trim and slim 216. He's always been in great condition. Rahman fought Lewis in South Africa at 238 pounds. He fought Lewis in Las Vegas at 236 pounds. He fires trainer Adrian Davis, hires Bowie Fischer, who used to train Bernard Hopkins, and enters here at 224. He himself seemed shocked by how low that number is. Punch stat numbers, Larry.
These days. So you can see, Jim, that Holyfield throws fewer punches these days as a counterpuncher. Rahman is more active generally. Jabs. Rahman figures to throw more jabs under the tutelage of Bowie Fischer, and that's his key to victory.
Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Evander Holyfield Hasim Rahman fight is scheduled for 12 rounds, non-title, using the unified rules of the Association of Boxing Commissions. There is no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight. In case a cut is caused by an accidental headbutt, we go to the scorecards after 4 rounds have been completed, and you cannot be saved by the bell at any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim.
All right, as you watch tonight, viewers, we ask you to log on to hbo.com/boxing. Cast your vote on what you think will be the outcome of next Saturday night's heavyweight championship battle between Lewis and Tyson. We'll give you the results at the conclusion of tonight's telecast. Also, our live trainer audio allows you to choose which trainer and cornerman you want to listen to during tonight's Evander Holyfield Hasim Rahman fight. And here comes the Rock. Rolling with the Rock!
He had a short and very happy reign as a heavyweight champion, being celebrated by his hometown of Baltimore and doing a lot of celebrating himself. But we have learned that he really was in great turmoil leading up to the rematch with a trainer he didn't speak to for a month and then didn't get a new trainer. And also he revealed to us that he actually fasted on the day of the fight for a Muslim religious holiday. Big mistakes.
His idea was that since he could eat after sundown on Ramadan, that he would have time to eat and prepare for the fight, which he did. But nevertheless, in the wake of the easy Lewis knockout, there were numerous questions about Rahman's state of mind coming into the fight, particularly when he revealed that he had been totally at odds with his trainer Adrian Davis prior to the fight. Rahman claims that he and Davis did not speak to each other in the 5 weeks leading to the fight. He says, in fact, that if he hadn't paid Davis in advance, he would have fired him and hired another trainer then. Now he's with Bowie Fischer, who trained Bernard Hopkins to his big victory over Felix Trinidad last year before splitting from Hopkins.
Bowie Fischer is an advocate of the manly art of self-defense. He wants Rahman to set up his big punches, not to just wing them. But is it a good idea to bring in a new trainer with new ideas just before an important fight?
Typical of many recent American heavyweight stars, Rahman came into the sport late from other experiences as a basketball and football player. And Holyfield says that's his weakness. He's still an amateur. He never learned all the things I learned in my lengthy amateur career.
Well, as Rahman put it, they were asking Holyfield whether he was going to retire before he had even put on gloves for the first time.
And the continuing life in the ring of Evander Holyfield. Look at that. 22 fights in his career against past or current champions. That refers not just to his fights in the heavyweight division, but also in the light heavyweight and the cruiserweight division as well. Fight in and fight out, the most consistently entertaining fighter in boxing over the course of the past 15 years.
In my view, Jim, he's been the best fighter in boxing over that time. I guess the question many of us ask ourselves is, why does a man with 9 children, a 55,000 square foot house with 12 bedrooms and 20 bathrooms still want to do this?
Because it's there.
Because he defines himself by this, as a prize fighter, on stage, challenging the best.
When you've spent your life proving you can do what others said you couldn't, it's hard to give it up. He was ebullient yesterday, as confident and expansive as we've ever seen him, talking at length about his life and his career, and looking toward this with great confidence and assurance that he can once again be the real deal. And now let's go to ring announcer Jimmy Lennon Jr. for the official introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you, and we welcome you to the new Boardwalk Hall here in Atlantic City, New Jersey. as we have a big night of action coming away, and it's all brought to you by Don King Productions in association with HBO Sports, Bally's Atlantic City, Caesars Atlantic City, and the undisputed king of beers, Budweiser. This bout coming away is sanctioned by the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board, Larry Hazard, Commissioner. The chairman is Jerry Gormley, board member Stephen Katz. Introducing to you our three judges scoring this main event from ringside. From New York, Melvina Lathan. From New Jersey, John Stewart. Also from New Jersey, Steve Weisfeld. And the third man to the ring, our referee in charge. He'll be giving instructions after the introductions, Tony Orlando. All right, fans, here we go. 12 rounds of boxing in a heavyweight elimination special attraction. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from Atlantic City, New Jersey, it's time for the main event of the evening. Introducing to you first on my left, he is fighting out of the blue corner, entering the ring wearing blue trunks with silver trim, hailing from Baltimore, Maryland. He weighed in at 224 pounds. His record stands at 35 wins, 3 losses, 29 big wins coming by way of knockout. He is currently ranked the WBC #3 contender. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former heavyweight champion of the world, introducing Hasim, the Rock Rahman. And his opponent across the ring on my right, ready to fight out of the red corner, entering the ring wearing red trunks with purple trim, representing his hometown of Atlanta, Georgia. He weighed in at a ready 216 pounds. His record, 37 wins, 5 losses, 2 draws, with 25 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome boxing's true warrior. Here is the one and only 4-time heavyweight champion of the world, introducing Evander, the real deal, Holyfield. Once again, here's our referee in charge now to give instructions, Tony Orlando. 12 rounds of boxing scheduled.
Okay, gentlemen, we received my instructions in dressing room. Therefore, I expect a clean, professional fight. I want you to watch your heads, watch your low blows. Listen to my commands at all times. While you touch gloves, go back to your corner, wait for the bell.
Early in his career, Evander Holyfield used to take opponents to the woodshed. Later in his career, he's been trying to take them to school. Yesterday, he indicated that maybe he has to rethink all of this school stuff. So let's see if he tries to recapture some of his youth against a conventional opponent.
George, does Rock's new sleek 224-pound body mean that he's definitely going to be boxing, moving, and staying outside?
It wouldn't hurt him to box and move, I tell you that. Holyfield is not a good aggressor. He does best when you bring the fight to him. So you want to move around, just step and jab, and wait until he make a mistake. He's not able to get away from right hands like he used to. Holyfield has got to make certain that if he get hit with anything, it's a left hook, because this guy's got nothing on the left hook. It's the right hand you got to beware of.
In his big win over Lewis in South Africa, Rahman threw many jabs by CompuBox numbers, 28 per round. In his loss to Lewis in Las Vegas, he was much less active with the jab, and that created new opportunities for Lennox.
It's good that Rahman is faster, though. A little weight off him, he can bounce around every now and then.
Both fighters popping to the body. In the first minute, Rahman working the jab upstairs. Holyfield sends an airmail right, too long.
You see Holyfield, he has his big punch is that left hook to the body. It's too bad he's never been able to get that same power on top with the left hook. Mainly because he's had to reach at big guys, and that's why.
But he is being more aggressive than we've seen him in some recent fights.
And that's where Rahman can just take his time and let that right hand go if Holyfield decides to step in constantly. Holyfield has got to make certain that this fight goes beyond 4 rounds and he's laying some good body shots because this guy can hit Rahman.
Holyfield sometimes looked slow and lethargic in his 3 battles with John Reeves. He has so far looked lively and energetic in round 1 here tonight.
Good body work by Rahman right there.
As that terrifying left hook that Holyfield tries to get in.
Let him go, let him go. Get back. Get back out of there.
That is, make Holyfield step forward. If he steps forward trying to jab or throw shots, Rahman can nail him all night. Just don't go after Evander Holyfield. Step around to the side.
Stiff left hand by Rahman. Doubling up on the jab there. Rock with a good active showing in the first round. Holyfield mashing him with that left hook inside. 1-2 lands for Holyfield. Rahman came back with a left hand of his own. Holyfield working to the body and Rahman feeling it as round 1 comes to a close.
A hell of a round it was, too.
Hold on your head. Put him down. Tell me what that gun. She's sleeping on your arm trying to check you out. Did you notice that? Yeah. So get that hand out of there quick. Okay.
Absent your combination, you must have your hands in position. Okay? And make those circles, you make them fast. All right? Make them fast. And they're taking 2s and 3s, not no big shots. Okay? And the jab's gonna lead you all the way. Okay? Keep that jab working your home feet, baby. Good job. Use that pain. Make it Miguel. Respond to that pain. Miguel, take this. Okay? You'll be home free, son. All right? This hard work will pay off.
CompuBox estimate, I should say CompuBox estimates in round 1. Holyfield 14 out of 41. Rahman 20 out of 49. Both guys had their moments. Both guys threw the jab in the neighborhood of 20 times and landed it about 25% of the time. Pretty even looking round by the numbers.
Rahman's corner has got him backing up just a little bit, which is good. Evidently, he's got a counter punch as a trainer making a counter punch out of it. And the good thing about this fight for Rahman is that Holyfield is fighting like a heavyweight. His big gift used to be he fought like a light heavyweight in a heavyweight title fight.
So that his activity level was difficult for some heavyweights to deal with.
That's right, but not any longer. As a matter of fact, Rahman is able to sneak in jabs, throw one shot, and Evander is still in the same position. Holyfield waits to counter with that right hand.
The contrast you described, Holyfield better as a defender than an attacker, was illustrated in the 4 fights against Lewis and Tyson. Holyfield beating Tyson twice, a man who would come to him and attack, twice having difficulty with Lewis, who sat back and waited for Evander to attack him.
Great! Step back clean. Step back, let's go, let's go.
Rahman is better turn on some power now because he's not landing any body shots to take away Holyfield's explosiveness later on in the fight.
Work out of there.
Good jab to the body. Rahman's being schooled. Whoa, and a right hand on top.
Let him go.
That's what you want to do if you're Rahman. Go to the jab to the body. Jab to the body. Make him protect his body and then go on top with your right hand.
Not likely to get a chance to get a running start on a right hand here the way he did in knocking Lewis out in South Africa.
He caught Lewis falling asleep.
Come on, let him go out of it. It's the way to go.
Combination by Holyfield. Rahman again going to the body inside.
Let go. All right, break. No punch in. Step back clean. Step back clean.
Whoa, good jab together. Rahman's got the better of it.
Come on, let's go. Come on, step back.
Part of Rahman's success in South Africa, he out-jabbed the jabber in the first few rounds against Lewis. That helped to create the tentativeness in Lewis that gave him the chance for the big knockout. Holyfield will never be tentative. He keeps coming.
Break. You hold it. Hold it. Break. When I say break, no punching.
Rahman didn't like that left hook. That hurt him that time.
Round 2 comes to a close. Next Saturday night, we remind you, and settled in Memphis, Tennessee.
Jab's working good. Watch the big right hand. Watch the big right hand. That's what it's looking for. Give me a big one. Come on, give me a big one.
Bump him hard. Make him work.
The Boardwalk Center, totally refurbished. Beautiful facility. It's not entirely new. It's built within the shell of the old Atlantic City Convention Center, but a far more glamorous environment than used to be the case. And big crowd here tonight to watch Evander Holyfield in what may be the twilight of his career.
That was a right hand. That was a right hand that hurt Rahman, and he picked Evander Holyfield up by the legs to conceal it. Better make sure he get his head up out of there.
Holyfield connected with the left hook inside too. And now Rahman starts to back away, and Holyfield nails him with a right cross. Holyfield pushing Rahman into the corner.
Holyfield trying to peel the years away, fighting as aggressively as he is. Can he sustain it?
One thing about throwing that many punches, and you're not the bigger guy as Holyfield is, you need a rest. You got to take a breather for a second, and that's when Rahman should jump right back on him. You got to make him pay. As soon as he throws 5 punches, get back on him.
Ever since the middle of his career, Evander Holyfield, despite his extraordinary conditioning, has often fought in spurts, 20, 30 seconds at a time, then back off, seemingly needing to regain his energy.
Well, he's basically a middleweight built up with fine conditioning and weightlifting and good nutrition. Some of these guys are naturally big. All they are just big. Their feet are big, their heads are big. And when you throw 3 shots at them, you get tired.
So you're saying Holyfield's size is self-manufactured rather than natural?
But, you know, everybody should be manufactured like that by themselves.
Oh, absolutely. And what about the notion that he wasn't really a big heavyweight puncher, George?
Well, he made up for it in a big heart. Heavyweights, no matter how big they are, they can't take these big hearts.
Nah, come on. Hold it.
First minute of the round was big for Evander Holyfield. Now in the second minute of the round, his pace has slowed, and Rahman is back into it.
Yeah, Holyfield was able to land some punches, but it took more out of him than it did Rahman.
Come on, work out of there. Let's go.
After he finished beating Rahman up, Rahman came, pushed him into the corner, and started hitting him back.
Good left inside by Holyfield. Digging to the rib cage again. Hasim Rahman has a strong body. Evander Holyfield seems determined to test it as no other fighter has.
And Rahman is an ex-football player too. Those football players, they're accustomed to bumping shoulders with people, running into them, and they don't get hurt.
Yeah, but they're not accustomed to being whacked in the belly and the liver. Nobody is.
They'll whack you in the liver in football. In the belly too.
Way to straighten it out.
Rock, baby, you laying too far away. Let this guy lead. You need to lead, son. Okay? Relax a little bit. Give me anything to squeeze before you do.
Speed, and later on we'll start loading up. You can hook.
Your feet move on your hip. You hit him 3 or 4 times in a row.
Your hook will eat him up. Your hook will eat him up, but watch that right hand because he's still bait.
Against the limited John Ruiz, Holyfield was smothered, and you never or rarely saw him in this kind of attitude in the ring. Against a more conventional fighter like Rahman, a boxer puncher who wants to give and take, he can operate. And Evander Holyfield is operating.
CompuBox numbers in round 3, a big round for Holyfield in the power punching category. Holyfield 18 out of 28 in power punches in round 3, including many body shots early in the round, which seemed to take something out of Rahman. Harold Letterman, how do you have it through 3?
Okay, Jim, was I heard to say Evander Holyfield couldn't pull the trigger? Man, I tell you, in the second and the third round, Evander Holyfield pulled the trigger. 2 rounds to 1, 29-28 Evander Holyfield. Sensational left hooks, good right hands by Evander Holyfield, clean punches that the judges couldn't miss, winning rounds 2 and 3. Rahman the busier guy in the first round.
Yeah, every time he's gone out into the fight, Holyfield, his corner has said to him, just watch the right hand. He believes, apparently, that the only way he can lose to Rahman is with that right hand. And Rahman doesn't throw a left hook. And right now, if he can avoid it, it looks like he can have a heck of a night.
You know, earlier this evening, I spoke off camera to a guy who fought both of them, Lennox Lewis. I said, who do you like tonight? He said, I got a hunch on the old man tonight. He said, logic says Rahman, but something in my heart tells me Evander will be big tonight. So far, Lennox is right.
All right, break. Step back. Let's be careful, guys. Come on.
They talk about Evander Holyfield watching that right hand, but he's not doing much of moving away from it at all. As a matter of fact, I find him in harm's way most of the time. It's just that Rahman is not getting off with that right hand.
Evander's so proud of his ability to roll with punches. He thinks he can roll from anything, but he got nailed with the right hand right there.
There it is again.
Keep him up.
Uppercut lands for Holyfield. Rahman has landed the right hand 4 times in the round.
Get off him. Come on. Come on, Rahman. Get them hands off here.
Rahman has got to know that when Holyfield starts leaning in like that, he may be hurt. Don't think he's looking for a leverage.
Evander starts trying to go back to the body to slow Rahman's attack upstairs. There's another vicious left hook to the ribcage by Holyfield.
Watch your head, gentlemen.
This is when Rahman should be fighting. This guy cannot throw 5 shots and then do anything after. Holyfield throws 3 good shots. He's got to take his breath.
Let's go.
Well, there goes the dancing, bobbing, counter punching and weaving Rahman. He's gone now as Rahman leans in and slugs with Evander on the inside.
Yeah, I don't know why, but he's not opening up. I thought the 200 and 24 pounds should have been a little better for him to move around and catch Holyfield when he backs up like that.
Maybe the body shots have taken the foot movement away.
Holyfield is throwing roundhouses. All of that benefits Rahman because it takes so much out of him.
Holyfield busting Rahman on the top of the head with a right hand. Rock looking to set up another right cross before the round ends.
You got a lot more weapons. You gotta stay focused. Don't get off your jab. You started getting off your jab that round, and that's why he was able to take the ropes and throw the right hand. Don't get off your jab. Keep your left hand high, and keep your head moving.
Your best aim.
It's nothing, but it's a cut. It's nothing, but it's a cut.
I warned him. Okay,
right,
that was a headbutt.
And he
we know it was coming. We can't hide behind that.
That was a straight right hand. You can see that the way Holyfield tries to defend the right hand sometimes, he was with his right across the top, and just as he did in South Africa, but with less effect, Rahman threaded through his defense.
Meanwhile, you saw the referee, Tony Orlando, and the ring doctor in Rahman's corner to examine what appears to be a nick over Rahman's left eye. You heard the discussion, and apparently Orlando agreeing that the nick must have come from a headbutt rather than a punch. Not sure how he knows, but that seemed to be the determination.
Rahman complained as soon as he was headbutted. They ran heads together. He complained. The referee knew about it. Rahman has got to get back on his jab. Don't worry about the right hand. Let the right hand come to you.
Left hook by Holyfield after a right hand by Rahman.
Step back, step back.
Energy levels just about equal in there. 10-year age gap not showing up so far.
An old man has no right to be fighting this way. We got to get some of Evander Holyfield's DNA and implant it in a few other heavyweights.
There you go. There you go. Rahman is successful with his jabs.
Holyfield misses with a roundhouse left.
Let's go. Watch your head. Come on, keep the head out of there. Right, break.
This is a real courageous and brave fight by Rahman, being that he was just stopped by another champion not too long ago. He's coming back like he's never been off.
Yesterday, Hasim Rahman said, I don't just want to win. I want to look good in the fight. I want it to be a great fight. I want people to be interested in what I'm doing in there. I don't need to knock him out. I just need to make a big impression in this fight.
He can do that if whenever Evander Holyfield lands 3 shots, keeps his hand up, he can get him with 4 afterwards, because Evander is not in a position to defend himself after he throws 4 punches.
Hard right hand by Rahman. Busted Holyfield on the chin. Evander again shows his enormous ability, as he's shown throughout his career, to take a punch.
He's always been able to take.
Watch your head.
You just don't want to take too many of them. For the first time in the fight, there are subtle signs that Holyfield is slowing down just a bit. More and more frequently, he throws 1 punch at a time instead of backing up the punch with a combination. There's another big right hand. Another big right hand by the Rock. Evander with his own right hand. Don't count me out yet, he says. Next Saturday night on pay-per-view, it's Lennox Lewis versus Mike Tyson in a long-awaited matchup for the heavyweight championship. June 22, HBO pay-per-view. The rematch of 2000's Fight of the Year, when Eric Morales takes on Marco Antonio Barrera in a 126-pound showdown. And on June 29 on HBO, heavyweight Vladimir Klitschko continues his quest for a possible title shot. Klitschko will do battle with the always tough Ray Mercer. HBO, the heart and soul of boxing.
Keeping your right hand high, okay? Give me that feint. Give me that feint. Walking to the left. Keep the right hand high.
Keep bumping. Don't stand in front of him. You don't need to. This guy leans all over.
The hook after you
Come on, let's go.
Get back on him.
One more time, the big weapon of Rahman, a straight right hand.
CompuBox numbers in round 5. Both fighters threw fewer than 40 punches. The pace begins to slow just a little bit. Holyfield landing 15, Rahman landing 16. Very even round. Harold Letterman scoring the fight. Barely even so far. Round 6 of a scheduled 12.
Holyfield has got to make sure if he's going to throw a right hand, he better come back with a left hook, because if he stays out there, this guy will beat him with the right.
Big right hand by Holyfield. Sets up 2 lefts, including an uppercut that knocks Rahman back. Holyfield sensing the moment. Another big left hook upstairs. Rahman not yet punching back. Now the Rock starts to throw.
Step back.
Now Rahman has got to start throwing punches. After Holyfield throws 5 shots, he's no good. That's why you see him holding right now. Rahman has got to start throwing shots.
Well said, George. Holyfield taking one of those breathers now after the big offensive rally. This is Rahman's chance to come right back at him. But Rock is letting that moment pass.
Let him go. Let him go.
You don't get many moments in these big fights like this when you got punches. You got to take advantage of them while they're there.
And if you've watched Evander Holyfield at all over these past 8 years, you know there's usually a lull after the storm. That's your opportunity. Whoa. Rock with a straight right.
Now he doesn't even know. He's not even aware that he's hurting.
He had a big smile on his face just after he landed that. I got you, old guy.
Now go back to your jab if you're Rahman. Just keep the jab going. He always gets the best of the jab.
Step back, step back. Gentlemen, watch your heads.
They trade jabs there, and Holyfield out jabs Rahman 2-1.
Come on, step back.
Oh, that referee is going to have a lot of work on his hand tonight. Rahman is doing the counter punching now.
Break! Step back, step back. Let's go. Watch your head, Evander. Watch your head.
Over and over and over. Rahman with the 1-2. 1-2. Jab, right cross. As George pointed out at the top of the show, or at the beginning of the fight, I should say, Rahman doesn't do much with the left hook.
Oh, if you're Holyfield, you just stay around on that left side. Stay around on that left side. If he stays on Rahman's left arm, he's out of harm's way all night.
Don't give the round away in the last 20 seconds. Don't stop. Don't get passive the last 20 seconds. Don't do that. Okay. You want to hustle that last 20 seconds. You understand?
Okay. When you hit him with a 1-2 like you did, hit him with 3 more punches right
That's
after.
right. That's right.
Very good, Rock.
How you do? Take that.
Don't let him on that left side, Rock. Even inside, Rock, don't let him on your left side. He gets inside, he's going to headbutt you and look for the hook.
Early in the round, Holyfield did some serious business. It carries him through the round and earned him the 10-9.
How even could this fight be? CompuBox numbers in the 6th. They both landed 19 punches. They both threw right about 40. Holyfield 39, Rahman 40. Crowd oohs and ahs again. Harold, how do you have it through 6?
Okay, Jim, I agree. I got it all even. 57-57, 3 rounds apiece. Hasim Rahman came back and, he rides Evander Holyfield across the ring. He used to do that very early in his career. He's real good at it. Just like George Foreman said, he leads that shoulder into you and whacks you with the free hand. Evander Holyfield can't ride Rahman across the ring because Rahman's stronger. But in round 6, Evander, I think, stole it with that early rally. So 3 rounds apiece.
I have the same score.
What I can understand is Rahman is so successful with his left jab, and he hardly throws it. Now these jabs he can't miss.
Maybe he doesn't want to get hit by that right hand, George.
No, he's in no harm as long as he's throwing that left jab. Nothing is going to happen to him.
And you heard Rahman's corner echoing George Foreman saying, don't let him get around on your left side. George pointing out, as he has, that if Foreman is on Rahman's left side, he's safe. If Rock doesn't use the left hook.
Holyfield should do good to stay to the left, but evidently he has problem moving to his right. Holyfield does. Doesn't like to do it, and if you move to his left, he doesn't have problem. He can't see you well.
Ruled a push, not a knockdown. More of a high tackle than anything else, although Rock did land an overhand right.
Let's go. Step back, clean.
There's that successful left jab.
And there's a big left hook by Holyfield. Stops Rahman in his tracks. Left to the body. Left hook upstairs. Holyfield trying to attack and seal the deal. Rahman comes back.
Now Rahman has got to pour it on. This is his time to pour it on. Look like a big swelling on Rahman's head.
Let him go.
There is a huge knot on Rahman's head above his left eye. That's what the doctors were getting ready to look at a couple of rounds ago, obviously.
Watch your head, man.
That's what came from the bump.
All right.
That's another bump.
Step back. Let him go.
Can you imagine Holyfield has him up against the ropes, throwing a lot of shots, and as Holyfield holding on, that's what you want. Make him throw those shots.
All right, break. Come on. Evander, keep that head.
Right, so you think the lump on Rahman's head came from another butt?
Yeah, they've been bumping heads all night. And
How distracting is it to Rahman to have something like this?
Well, this is his moment of truth. He can't even let anything distract him now. He's got to go for it.
Yeah, he's feeling it. He's feeling it. You see him rubbing it with the glove. And Holyfield hits it with the right hand.
That's about as nasty a bump as I've ever seen above a fighter's eye, almost on the forehead.
There it is.
You can work with that, though. If you're a good corner man, you can work with that.
Miguel Diaz. That's about as good a corner man as you'll find right there working on it.
You can work with that because there's no chance to blow your nose, but that thing is moving up there.
Settle down. Settle down.
You push it out, we'll go to the scorecard.
Shut up, baby.
Let's see where they butted. Well, there are two fighters fighting at close quarters, coming in at each other.
That is. There it is, right on the spot.
Yep.
Holyfield is a rough fighter, not a dirty fighter. When you fight him at close quarters,
get ready.
Almost anything goes.
Well, various opponents throughout Evander's career have complained that he butted, but most ringside experts agree Evander doesn't seem to try to foul on purpose. It's just the way he fights. He's there. He's coming. If you go inside with him, it's going to be rough.
Let's keep our eye on that and see if that's true.
Schedule 12, and the 39-year-old fighter is trying to take the 29-year-old to the woodshed.
Rahman is holding on for dear life.
Yeah, the old lion sees a wounded creature in front of him, and that seems to have energized him.
Well, remember, this happened to Rahman in Africa. Lewis thought he had him hurt, played around with him, and he ran into that magic right hand.
But Evander's not just waiting for one big punch the way Lewis did in South Africa.
He's going. He's continuously throwing shots.
And he's not giving Rahman any room to do the things that Rock does best. Jab, throw the right hand. That knot is amazing.
But it doesn't seem to be bothering Rahman.
Yeah, you can feel it on your head. You get those things like that, it irritates you good.
That is one of the most grotesque things I've ever seen on a prize fighter.
Yeah. What is the danger of that, George? Can you tell?
Yeah, I think maybe that got cracked little skull. You know, you got bones up there, and sometimes you can get into those bones and make things swell bad. I wouldn't let him fight anymore if I was the referee. That thing is going to go all the way down to his eyes.
It's a collection of blood under there, okay?
Right, we're not going to go.
It's not dangerous to you, but if you feel you can't see, then you shouldn't continue.
I'm going to shoot better.
Blurry?
Okay,
they're going to stop the fight, I believe. The doctor said to Rahman, it's not dangerous, but if you can't see the fight.
Stop it.
And we're going to
the scorecard.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And it's an accidental butt. Okay. Okay.
We're going to go to the scorecards.
Got to go to the scorecard.
Right, okay.
The Jersey State Athletic Commission Chairman Larry Hazard giving the instructions to referee Tony Orlando. Orlando makes the signal there. The fight is going to be stopped right here. They'll go to the scorecards and determine a winner.
The doctors. Yeah, the doctor said to Rahman, the bump isn't dangerous, but if you can't see, the fight should stop. And Rahman said something to the effect that it was affecting his eyesight, and that's why they stopped the fight.
Harold Letterman, your take on this?
Okay, Jim, I got to tell you what may determine this fight. Now, this is a guess, but I think it's an educated guess. When you stop a fight in the middle of the round, you have to score the round in which the fight is stopped. Now, obviously, Evander Holyfield wins round 8, 10-9. This might be a big factor in this thing. I mean, I've got it right now, 5 rounds to 3 in favor of Holyfield. I mean, because of the fact that he won that 8th round. Rahman did nothing but protect the lump in the 8th round. Now, as far as the corner goes, Miguel Diaz was using an end swell. When you get a lump like that, you got to have an ice bag ready. You have, just like he has on it right now. You got to have a big ice bag. But between rounds 7 and 8, he used the end swell. Wrong way to treat that.
George, you're satisfied they're doing exactly the right thing with this because of the
exactly the right thing. I think this is more than fair. Go to the scorecard. This guy cannot continue. It was an accidental hit, but this is going to be a fair decision.
Here's the but. Once again, that's the clash of heads which produced the swelling.
That's the second one.
You can see the swelling begin immediately after that clash of heads. I mean, the swelling has already begun within seconds there after the clash of heads you saw in that replay. And yes, you're right, George. That was the second one.
Yeah.
That was not the one which occasioned the doctor's first visit over to Rahman's corner a little bit earlier.
There's got to be something seriously wrong with that eye to have that kind of swelling.
I saw that in a fight between Randall Bailey and Daner Julio in Miami 2 years ago on the undercard of Felix Trinidad against Mamadou Thiam. And later I had a chance to ask Bailey how much it bothered him, and he said, you know, I wasn't really all that conscious of it during the fight. He said when I got to the locker room afterward, I couldn't believe it because I looked, you know, misshapen, as though my face had completely changed.
Yeah, you don't have a mirror when you're out there in the ring. So you just have to guess.
Yeah, Rock has no way of knowing exactly how that feels, but he's been touching it with his gloves, but of course he can't feel anything through his gloves. Meanwhile, they're totaling up the scorecards here to see if Evander Holyfield has gotten a huge and rejuvenating win in his career, albeit the impact of the win may be diminished by the circumstances under which he gets it, right, George?
That's right, and that's good that they got a similar promoter. That means a rematch. It was a good fight. It deserves a rematch.
It was a good fight. It was a great matchup that was bringing out terrific stuff from both fighters.
Do or die. Each fighter's had to produce tonight or he's out of the picture.
Maybe the scorecards will be even.
That wouldn't hurt anything either.
A grinning Don Turner above us. And Turner's probably smiling because of the performance of his fighter, Evander Holyfield, who looked like a lively young colt in there much of the time.
Oh yeah, he was fighting like a big super heavyweight, not fighting like the little light heavyweight without any weight.
Well, I guess he's finally settled into this thing, huh?
Yeah, I guess he said, look, I'm not going to lose weight. I'm not going down. I'm a heavyweight.
216 pounds and looking like a sleek, customized roadster. And tonight with some new gas in the tank.
Caution about the head from the beginning. That was one of our concerns from the beginning.
One question Rahman will have to answer for himself and for others after the fight. Why did he agree to fight Evander Holyfield at close quarters rather than to stay outside, box him, and use his jab? Did he have a choice, George?
I think that he was doing the right kind of fight. This bump just kind of messed things up the head, but this guy was able to withstand Holyfield's combinations and then come back. But later on, I mean, the headbutt, you mix that into get that into the mix, and then things don't go well.
Well, Tyson in particular was one fighter who complained that Holyfield butts. Have you ever seen it intentionally?
Well, he seemed to go to the same spot all the time.
Let's go to Jimmy Lennon Jr. to see what the official scorecard said.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout has been stopped at 1 minute 40 seconds in round number 8 due to an accidental headbutt. Our physician at ringside ruling that Rahman, suffering from a severe hematoma, is unable to continue. Therefore, we go to the scorecards. Judge at ringside, Steve Weisfeld scores about 69-64 in favor of Evander Holyfield. Judge at ringside, Malvina Lathan scores about 67-66 in favor of Hasim Rahman. Judge at ringside, John Stewart scores about 69-64 in favor of the technical decision winner, Evander, the real deal, Holyfield.
Harold Letterman, you said they had to score the 8th round.
You have to score the partial round. They were entirely wrong. Now listen to me. If you knock a guy down 15 times or something like that in the 8th round, you got to get credit for those knockdowns. You must score the partial round, period. And I know those rules inside and out. I would question Commissioner Larry has it about the 8th round.
However, it's a moot point, isn't it?
It is
because Holyfield would have won the 8th by all logic, and the decision would have remained the same.
Correct. Absolutely correct.
Harold Letterman had Holyfield winning.
And there are the judges' scorecards. Malvina Lathan with Rahman on top. Stewart and Weisfeld both with Holyfield on top. Even if all 3 judges were to have scored the 8th round for Rahman, it would still be a Holyfield victory by majority decision. Or by split decision, I should say. Split technical decision, to be totally accurate about it. Let's go to Larry Merchant, standing by with the man who has now taken the bitter end of this one, Hasim Rahman.
All right, thank you very much, Jim. Rock, the doctor said to you at the end, you could continue if it doesn't interfere with your eyesight. How was it interfering with your sight?
Every time he would jab me, I thought I saw the jab coming one way and it hit me somewhere else. And I know he ain't had that much movement on his jab. So when I went to block the jab, I was way, way off. I couldn't really see it coming. And, I mean, he was headbutting me from round 1.
What did you say? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
He was headbutting me from round 1.
All right, but what do you recall about the headbutt that put that knot above your left eye?
I think I pointed right out to the referee when he did it. He just came in lunging with his head. Every time I would throw a right hand, he'd drop his level and rush me with his forehead. I mean, you know, that's just part of it. That's just another weapon he has, you know. I'm fighting against 2 hands, a head, and an elbow.
Right, let's take a look at the headbutt. I'm sorry we don't have a monitor here. We'll try to get a monitor so that you can see it and describe it. Tell us about the fight up until that time. Was he more active than you anticipated?
No, I thought he was going to be active for the first, for the first half of the fight. Then I thought he would slow down because I think he was going to come out being as though he thought as though he know I got stopped in my last fight. I thought he would come out and try to end it early. But the fight is 12 rounds. I know, I was going to have to pick the pace up in the later round and go for the knockout. But
you were hitting him with your right hand, weren't you?
Yeah, I felt like I was going to start hitting him more and more with the right hand because some rounds I would throw it, some rounds I wouldn't. So I ain't just want him to catch a beat on it. And then I would just start picking up at the last round.
All right, you said before the fight, if you lost this, you didn't see how you could remain in contention, but you fought a good fight. Do you still feel that you can go out of your career on a fight like this?
Definitely, I don't feel Evander Holyfield beat me. I don't feel like, it was a fair fight, and I don't think it was an official fight. I think the fight,
So you'll be back?
I mean, if I could be back with Evander, I'd like to set the record straight. I'm not sure he's going to want to fight again. But if he does, I just got prepared for the head buzzer. Well, how it looks on tape. I didn't think he could do as much damage with his head that he really do. He must have got a metal plate in there or something because I don't remember nobody doing this much damage with a punch.
Thank you very much, Rock. Jim, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Larry. Rock makes a good point. It's conceivable, to me at least, that Holyfield might look around for a chance to get at one of those belts quicker than to go in and have to fight Rahman again, but Rahman deserves a rematch. It ought to happen.
Yeah, I don't think this fight didn't happen and didn't end the way Evander Holyfield nor Rahman should want history to record it. It should be a rematch, should be in another place. They should have a chance to settle it fair and square. It wasn't settled right this time at all.
From an entertainment standpoint, it was shaping up as a much better fight than some of us might have expected it to be.
No, I don't think we're going to see many heavyweight fights like this. Holyfield was throwing punches like he was 21. He'd get tired, but then he'd throw 21 more.
Larry stands by now with 39-year-old winner Evander Holyfield.
Thank you, Jim. Congratulations, Evander. I guess you're not going into retirement.
Well, you know, either way the decision went, I wasn't going in retirement. You know, like I said, my goal is to be the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. And, you know, patience is you know, key to being successful.
When he said you were butting him from the beginning of the fight, but was there a particularly hard collision of heads that raised that knot on his head?
Well, no, I don't think so. I was hitting him with, you know, every right hand I threw, I would hit him across the temple with it because he wasn't able to get his hands up. And, you know, he actually lead in with his head. What I do, I put my head on the chest where I can put it on that side or either that side. And so his whole thing, when he get ready to punch hard, he lead with his head. And, you know, it's not that I will force my head, because if I would force him, I would move my head. If you look, I put my head on the left, I put it on the right to keep him from hitting my head.
All right, we're going to take a look at that particular butt because it raised about the ugliest knot on a head that I ever saw. All right, let's go to the monitor. Describe what you see.
Right, well, you know, I throw a right hand, I hit him with the short left hook and another right. And see, that is where we did hit head there, and but I'm hitting him with shots anyway, and I hit him right on it, you know.
So you're saying that yes,
it was a headbutt. That shot was a headbutt. You know, you can see as clear as day. Ain't no sense.
Yeah, but you aggravated it a little bit with your punching.
Well, you know, I was hitting with them shots each and every time. You know, a lot of times people don't realize that when two fighters come to fight and they standing there, you know. All right.
You made a very interesting observation before this fight to us, Evander, in which you said in the old days you just go out and fight and you weren't worried about anything. But lately you were sort of taking guys to school and trying to be so perfect that maybe that wasn't such a good idea to be that perfect anymore. And so it seemed that you fought with a little bit more of the old abandon tonight. Is that accurate?
Well, you know, today, you know, he put himself in a position where I can hit him with shots because he swung such a hard shots. He's all bound each and every time to swing. So he eased the combination, goes to the body and heads like that, you know. Which, you know, I felt very comfortable, and I was able to get my hands off, and I was able to bring the joy back into the game of boxing instead of just trying, well, I got to knock the guy out with one big shot. I realized a combination of shots that eventually get him.
So because basically for a lot of the fight, you two guys were just standing within arm's length, you were able to practice what you do best.
Well, you see, that's what happened with guys that don't have the experience. They can't outbox you. Then once they find themselves getting inside, then they find that they can't outslug you, so they're in trouble either thing that they do.
Did any of his punches daze you, hurt you?
Well, no, he throws strong shots, but the ultimate thing is to get away from the big shots. And so I know that he hit hard, but, you know, it's not for me to stand there, you know, to grade him.
What does this fight mean to you, to be able to fight in this fashion, to tell all of the naysayers once again, here I am, I had you where I wanted you, and I proved you wrong again?
Well, you know, like the record that I came out, don't say what God won't do. You know, I trust in the Lord, you know, my health and strength, and I'm willing to work harder. You know, a lot of people look at it just natural. I work harder than the young guys and the older guys and stuff, and I practice my craft.
All right, what do you think will be next? Do you want to challenge the winner of the Johnson Ruiz fight, or would you rather, if the opportunity presents itself, to fight Bird for another title? Do you care how it falls?
Well, you know, of course, you know, I'd rather fight the winner of Lennox and Tyson. But if that don't happen, then, you know, with the WBA title, I'd rather fight that fight. You know, the Bird style just ain't the style that, you know, I would like to compete against. Not because, you know, I don't feel that I just feel that it will be a very taxing fight because, you know, his fighting style.
Thank you very much, Evander. Congratulations one more time. Jim?
All right, thank you, Larry. Stick with us. Still to come, a conversation with Lennox Lewis as he looks ahead to next week. Final CompuBox numbers from this one. Evander Holyfield landing 11 more punches. Rahman throwing 16 more. They both land at a fairly high connect percentage. Those stats pretty even, given that CompuBox, as you know, is necessarily an estimate rather than an exact count. Power punches. Holyfield landing 31 more and throwing 30 more than Rahman, as the fight was mostly fought at Holyfield's preferred range rather than the one at which we thought, at least, that Rahman might have had a better chance to outbox Evander. Earlier this evening, we invited all of you to contact our HBO Boxing website and to give us your feelings on what would be the outcome of next Saturday night's Lewis-Tyson fight. 26% of you, Lewis KO. 26%, Lewis by disqualification. Even. Interesting. 21% Lewis by decision. All and all, 73% pick Lewis. 16% Tyson KO. 11% pick a draw, which is kind of fascinating because Mike Tyson hasn't gone 12 rounds in a fight since the summer of 1991. But a lot of you are paying attention to that because nobody voted for Mike Tyson to win a decision over Lennox Lewis. So that much, I guess almost everybody can agree upon, but that's part of the excitement of the fight, right? The suspense every moment as to whether Lewis's chin is going to give way to one of Tyson's shots. Well, earlier this evening, I had a chance to talk to Lennox Lewis, 7 days removed from the biggest date in his boxing career, and just a couple days after his arrival in Memphis. Here's how he looked as he talked about his upcoming big night.